Will you give us a second, please?
There's a pattern in Hollywood that nobody talks about. Every few years, a major studio bets everything on a sci-fi movie they believe is completely bulletproof. The director is proven, the cast is stacked, the budget is enormous, and the marketing machine is running at full speed. Then opening weekend arrives, and the numbers come in, and suddenly boardrooms full of the smartest people in entertainment are staring at each other, wondering how they got it so wrong. It's happened 16 times in recent memory, and the combined losses are staggering. Billions of dollars evaporated, careers ended overnight, entire franchises killed before they even started. And the craziest part is that some of these movies weren't even bad. These are not obscure indie films or low-budget experiments that are overreached. These are massive, studio-backed, wide-release sci-fi movies that every single person in Hollywood expected to print money. 16 of them. Ranked from the ones that stumbled all the way down to the ones that detonated on impact. And trust me, you don't want to miss how this list ends. Number 16. Moonfall, 2022.
¿Tú eres la fuente no identificada? Oh, sí.
Roland Emmerich destroyed the White House on Independence Day and made $817 million doing it. He froze New York in The Day After Tomorrow and pulled in $544 million. He cracked the Earth's crust in 2012 and banked $791 million worldwide. So when he announced a movie where the moon gets knocked out of orbit and plummets toward Earth, nobody questioned whether it would work. Here is something that will shock you. Emmerich did something almost unheard of for a director of his status. He mortgaged his own properties and invested his personal fortune into Moonfall. The production set up shop in Montreal, where crews built massive practical sets, including a full NASA mission control room and detailed spacecraft interiors. Halle Berry signed on as a NASA deputy director. Patrick Wilson took the lead. The visual effects team produced over 1,700 shots across multiple studios worldwide, eating through a budget that climbed to $146 million before a single marketing dollar was spent. Moonfall opened to $9.9 million domestically. Its worldwide total crawled to $67 million. The man who once ruled the summer box office lost his own money and risked being homeless on a movie about the moon falling from the sky. This is a lesson that sometimes even the biggest name in disaster cinema cannot survive a disaster of his own making. Number 15. Tomorrowland, 2015. Brad Bird had never missed. The Incredibles was a masterpiece. Ratatouille won the Oscar. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol made $694 million worldwide and revived an entire franchise. When Disney paired him with George Clooney and greenlit a $190 million original sci-fi adventure, the industry treated it as a sure thing. The concept was built around a secret dimension where humanity's greatest minds created a utopian city filled with jetpacks, robots, and technology decades ahead of our own. Clooney reportedly earned around $20 million for the lead role. Hugh Laurie came aboard as the villain. Brittany Robertson played the teenage protagonist. Disney constructed elaborate practical sets, including a full-scale retro-futuristic exhibition hall, and commissioned hundreds of custom costume pieces designed to look like 1960s NASA aesthetics merged with alien technology. Then comes the marketing team. They kept everything mysterious. Trailers teased golden skylines and rocket ships, but never explained what the movie was actually about. Disney believed the mystery would drive curiosity. Instead, it drove confusion. Tomorrowland opened to $33 million domestically. Its worldwide total reached $209 million. Against a $190 million production budget, plus roughly $150 million in global marketing, Disney absorbed a loss estimated at about $150 million. The film that preached about the power of big dreams became one of Disney's most expensive broken promises. Number 14. Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, 2017. Luc Besson made The Fifth Element in 1997 for $90 million, and it became one of the most iconic sci-fi films ever made. It earned $263 million worldwide and turned into a cultural phenomenon that people still reference nearly 3 decades later. But here's what most people do not know. Besson only made The Fifth Element because he could not yet make the movie he truly wanted. Since he was 10 years old, Besson had been obsessed with the French comic series Valerian and Laureline. It shaped his entire visual imagination. Every alien design in The Fifth Element, every crazy costume, every neon-drenched set piece was borrowed from those comics. For 20 years, he waited for technology to catch up to his vision. When it finally did, he bet everything. And I mean everything. The production employed over 1,000 visual effects artists who created amazing VFX shots. Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne were cast as the leads. Rihanna joined the cast for a memorable but brief shape-shifting sequence that reportedly cost several $1,000,000 to produce on its own. The sets were built across multiple sound stages at the Cité du Cinéma in Paris. Valerian and the city looked absolutely stunning. It just did not connect. Number 13, After Earth, 2013. In 2013, Will Smith was arguably the most bankable star in Hollywood history. His films had grossed over $6.6 billion worldwide. He had never opened a movie below $20 million domestically in nearly 2 decades. Studios considered him as close to a guaranteed return on investment as any actor alive. So when he pitched a sci-fi survival story designed to launch his teenage son Jaden Smith as a major movie star, Sony gave him $130 million and paired him with M. Night Shyamalan. On paper, that combination should have been massive. In reality, it was entirely different. The concept was straightforward. A father and son crash land on a future Earth that has evolved to kill humans. The father is injured, so the son must trek across hostile terrain alone to signal for rescue. Behind the scenes, the production was tightly controlled by Will Smith himself. The production built elaborate jungle sets and designed creatures meant to embody Earth's hostility toward humanity. After Earth opened to $27 million domestically, the lowest opening of Will Smith's career at that point, its worldwide gross reached $243 million, which sounds acceptable until you factor in the $130 million production budget plus over $100 million in global marketing. Number 12, Blade Runner 2049, 2017. Here is something wild. The original Blade Runner bombed too. In 1982, it earned just $33 million on a $28 million budget. Critics were split. Audiences walked out confused. But after 35 years, something extraordinary happened. It became one of the most influential science fiction films ever created. Its DNA lives inside The Matrix, Ghost in the Shell, and virtually every cyberpunk story ever told. So when Warner Brothers and Alcon Entertainment announced a sequel directed by Denis Villeneuve, everyone believed this was a guaranteed event. The budget climbed past $150 million. Harrison Ford returned as Deckard for a reported $15 million. Ryan Gosling took the lead for around $20 million. Roger Deakins, the most nominated cinematographer in Oscar history at that time, shot every frame like a painting. Production designer Dennis Gassner built entire cityscapes on soundstages in Budapest. Over 1,100 visual effects shots expanded the universe far beyond the original. The film premiered and critics lost their minds. Review after review called it a masterpiece. Roger Deakins finally won his Oscar after 14 nominations, and then opening weekend delivered $31 million domestically. Blade Runner 2049 did not fail because it was bad. It failed because it was an art film wearing a blockbusters price tag. Number 11, Mortal Engines 2018. Peter Jackson's name used to mean one thing: money. The Lord of the Rings trilogy earned $2.9 billion worldwide. The Return of the King won all 11 Oscars it was nominated for. When Jackson announced he would produce Mortal Engines, Universal handed over a budget exceeding $100 million without hesitation. Jackson co-wrote the screenplay with Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, the same team behind Middle-earth. He chose Christian Rivers to direct. Rivers had never directed a feature film. London, the film's massive Predator city, was realized through a combination of enormous physical models and digital extensions that took over a year to complete. The opening chase sequence, where London hunts down and swallows a tiny mining town, required 300 individual visual effects shots for that scene alone. In fact, the total visual effects shot count exceeded 1,700, and none of it mattered. Mortal Engines opened to $7.5 million domestically. Its worldwide gross limped to $83 million. Universal reportedly took a write-down exceeding $100 million. The cast had no recognizable names to American audiences. The marketing never clearly explained what audiences were walking into, and by late 2018, the market for mortal engines had completely dried up after Divergent and The Maze Runner exhausted the genre. Number 10. Jupiter Ascending, 2015. The Wachowskis did not just make a successful movie with The Matrix, they rewrote the rules of cinema itself. So when they announced an original space opera with a $176 million budget, Warner Brothers said yes without blinking. The production was enormous. Sets were built across sound stages in London and Chicago. The costume department designed over 2,000 individual pieces, including Tatum's Wolf hybrid warrior gear, which featured custom prosthetic ears, military-grade boots with built-in anti-gravity effects rigs, and layered armor that took 3 hours to apply each shooting day. The visual effects budget consumed a massive portion of the overall cost, with battle sequences requiring months of post-production rendering. Then things started going wrong. Warner Brothers delayed the release of the movie to February 2015. In Hollywood, that date shift is a death sentence. It signals the studio has lost confidence. The plot tried to compress an entire trilogy worth of mythology into a single film. And then there was Redmayne. His villain performance became an instant meme. He whispered every line in a breathy monotone, then randomly screamed individual words for no apparent reason. Jupiter Ascending earned $184 million worldwide against its $176 million budget, which meant Warner Brothers lost well over $100 million after marketing. The Wachowskis would not direct another theatrical film together for years. Proof that the people who changed everything can still get it catastrophically wrong. Number 9. Ghost in the Shell, 2017. The 1995 Ghost in the Shell anime is not just a classic. It is a foundation stone of modern science fiction. It redefined cyberpunk. It pioneered themes about artificial intelligence and digital consciousness years before those ideas entered mainstream conversation. So, when Paramount announced a live-action adaptation with a $110 million budget and Scarlett Johansson in the lead, two very different reactions erupted simultaneously. On one side, Johansson was the highest-grossing female action star in the world. Her involvement in the Marvel Cinematic Universe had generated billions. On the other side, the iconic Japanese character Major Motoko Kusanagi ignited a firestorm that dominated every headline about the film for months before release. Behind the scenes, director Rupert Sanders pushed for maximum visual authenticity to the anime's aesthetic. Weta Workshop, Peter Jackson's legendary effects house, designed the robotic geisha characters using a combination of practical animatronics and digital enhancement that cost several $1 million for a sequence lasting barely 5 minutes. The film is absolutely fantastic, but the whitewashing controversy was a freight train that no amount of production design could stop. Ghost in the Shell earned $169 million worldwide. Against its budget and marketing costs, Paramount took a significant loss. And the next film shows what happens when a major star delivers a masterpiece that audiences simply refuse to watch. Number 8. Ad Astra, 2019. Brad Pitt took a pay cut to make this movie. He wanted it that badly. The Oscar-winning actor accepted a reduced fee reportedly well below his usual $20 million quote because he believed in director James Gray's vision of a deeply personal space epic. That commitment should tell you everything about how much faith the people involved had in Ad Astra. Brad Pitt plays an astronaut traveling to the outer edges of the solar system to find his missing father, who may be threatening all life on Earth. Gray wanted to make what he called the most realistic depiction of space travel ever put on film. The production team consulted extensively with NASA engineers and astrophysicists. They built massive practical sets, including a stunning recreation of a lunar surface, complete with rover vehicles and an underground commercial zone meant to show how capitalism would colonize the moon. The moon sequences were filmed with harsh overhead lighting to replicate actual lunar conditions. Despite all this, Ad Astra bombed very hard at the box office. The movie earned just $19 million domestically in its opening weekend. Against production and marketing spend, the film lost an estimated $100 million. It earned Pitt additional award seasons, but commercially, it was a disaster. Number 7. Terminator Dark Fate, 2019. James Cameron, the man who created the Terminator franchise, personally handed the keys back to the original team, erased every sequel after 1991, and declared this the true third chapter. Linda Hamilton returned after 28 years. Arnold got paid a reported $13 million just to show up. The production budget landed at $185 million, and with marketing, the total bill climbed past $250 million. Paramount was confident. Fans were cautiously hopeful. The film's visual effects budget was staggering, with multiple studios handling different sequences to meet the release deadline. Hamilton underwent months of intense physical training to convincingly portray a battle-hardened Sarah Connor in her 60s. She has spoken openly about how grueling the transformation was, describing the process as punishing. Behind the scenes, tension reportedly existed between Cameron's creative oversight and Miller's directorial instincts. The script went through multiple rewrites, and a key early decision, killing off a beloved legacy character in the first 10 minutes, alienated the core audience before the story even had a chance to breathe. Despite all this firepower, Dark Fate opened to a devastating $29 million domestically. A franchise with 6 films, decades of cultural muscle, and one of cinema's most iconic villains had somehow become a box office ghost. Number 6. Solo, A Star Wars Story, 2018. Solo, A Star Wars Story had a different kind of wound. This one was self-inflicted, and Hollywood watched in real time. The original directors who started the movie, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, were fired just months into production after shooting nearly 70% of the film. That single decision transformed Solo from a modestly ambitious spin-off into one of the most expensive productions in Hollywood history. Phil and Christopher had been shooting for nearly 5 months when Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy removed them, citing creative differences. Reports later revealed they both had been encouraging heavy improvisation from the cast, and also clashing with veteran screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan. The production budget was $275 million, making Solo one of the most expensive films ever produced. In contrary, when the film opened, Disney absorbed losses estimated to be about $80 million. Number 5. The Matrix Resurrections, 2021. When the first Matrix hit theaters in 1999, it didn't just make money, it rewired Hollywood's entire understanding of action filmmaking. The original trilogy hauled in over $1.6 billion worldwide, so when Warner Brothers announced a 4th installment, with Keanu Reeves returning as Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss back as Trinity, the assumption was simple. This was going to print money. The production budget sat at $190 million, filmed across San Francisco, Berlin, and Erfurt, with a costume department that reportedly spent months rebuilding the signature black latex and trench coat aesthetic for a new era. Warner Brothers then made a decision that quietly poisoned the film before it opened. They released it simultaneously on HBO Max and in theaters on Christmas Day 2021, the same day as Spider-Man No Way Home, which was already breaking records. The opening weekend domestically was just $22 million for a Matrix film. The worldwide total limped to $156 million against a break-even point estimated at over $400 million. But here is where the story gets complicated. Lana Wachowski never actually wanted to make a blockbuster. She has said publicly that she wrote the script as a deeply personal response to grief, processing the deaths of her parents, and that the film intentionally deconstructed sequel culture and franchise nostalgia from the inside. Number 4. Lightyear, 2022. Here is the thing about Lightyear that almost nobody talks about. The Buzz Lightyear that appeared in the Toy Story films, the one children grew up loving, was voiced by Tim Allen for over 25 years across 4 films and countless specials. The Toy Story franchise had generated nearly $3.2 billion across 4 films. Buzz Lightyear was one of the most recognizable animated characters on the planet. The budget was massive. Pixar reportedly spent around $300 million on production. Chris Evans was brought in to voice Buzz, replacing Tim Allen, and that casting decision immediately sparked controversy. The production itself took years, with director Angus MacLane developing the concept as a passion project. Then there was the Disney Plus factor. Pixar's 3 previous films, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, had all been sent directly to streaming, training audiences to simply wait for Pixar movies at home rather than buy theater tickets. Lightyear opened to just $51 million domestically, a shocking number for a Toy Story-related property. It finished with $226 million worldwide, meaning it likely lost Disney over $100 million. Number 3. Cloud Atlas, 2012. This is the film that nearly bankrupted two legendary directors and proved that ambition and box office success are sometimes mortal enemies. The Wachowskis, fresh off the Matrix trilogy, partnered with German director Tom Tykwer to attempt what no studio was willing to fully finance. The production budget reached approximately $128.8 million. The cast was extraordinary and expensive. Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Hugh Grant, Jim Broadbent, Hugo Weaving, Susan Sarandon, and others all signed on, with Hanks and Berry reportedly earning around $10 to $15 million each. Here is where things got truly wild. Each major actor played multiple roles across all 6 timelines, sometimes changing race, gender, and age through elaborate prosthetic makeup. The makeup team, led by artists who spent up to 6 hours per transformation on certain actors, created over 60 distinct character looks. Cloud Atlas opened to just $9.4 million in the US and finished with $27.1 million domestically. Worldwide, it earned around $130 million, barely matching its production budget and nowhere near covering marketing costs. The film lost an estimated $100 million, yet over time it developed a passionate cult following, with many calling it a misunderstood masterpiece. Number 2. John Carter, 2012. Before Star Wars, before Avatar, before every space opera you have ever loved, there was John Carter. Edgar Rice Burroughs published A Princess of Mars in 1912, making it one of the oldest science fiction stories in existence. So when Disney finally brought John Carter to the big screen after nearly a century of failed attempts, they expected it to be a triumphant homecoming for the grandfather of modern sci-fi. Instead, it became the most infamous box office disaster of the 21st century. Disney handed the project to Andrew Stanton, the Pixar genius behind Finding Nemo and Wall-E. It was his first live-action film. The studio gave him enormous creative freedom and an initial budget of around $250 million. But behind the scenes, the production was troubled from the start. Stanton, accustomed to Pixar's collaborative but director-driven environment, clashed with Disney's live-action division over creative decisions. He insisted on extensive reshoots that added tens of millions to the budget. Then Disney's marketing department essentially sabotaged the film. The original title, John Carter of Mars, was shortened to just John Carter because Disney executives believed the word Mars in a title hurt box office performance, citing the failure of Mars Needs Moms the previous year. John Carter opened at just $30.2 million domestically. The film finished with just $73 million in the US and $284 million worldwide. Disney officially wrote down a loss of over $200 million, making it one of the biggest financial failures in cinema history. Number 1. The Marvels, 2023. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was supposed to be unbreakable. For over a decade, the MCU had turned even its most obscure characters into box office gold. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, none of them were household names before Marvel Studios made them into billion-dollar properties. So when The Marvels was announced, it seemed like a sure bet. The production budget was approximately $274.8 million. Director Nia DaCosta, coming off the acclaimed Candyman reboot, became the youngest director ever to helm an MCU film at just 32 years old. But the production was plagued by problems that reflected larger issues within Marvel Studios. Reshoots were extensive and reportedly chaotic. Multiple writers cycled through the script. DaCosta later hinted in interviews that her creative vision was frequently overridden by Marvel's internal process, suggesting the final product didn't fully represent her intentions. When The Marvels finally opened, the numbers were staggering for all the wrong reasons. It debuted at $46 million domestically, the lowest opening in MCU history. It finished with just $84.5 million in the US and $206 million worldwide. Against its combined production and marketing costs, estimated near $400 million, Disney reportedly lost close to $237 million. It became the lowest-grossing MCU film ever. The franchise that had once seemed immune to failure had finally proven that no brand is invincible. The Marvels didn't just bomb. It signaled that the era of guaranteed superhero dominance might officially be over. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these movies do you think deserved more attention? Do you have other movies in mind? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and share with fellow sci-fi fans.